Hey guys, welcome back to the Regan Homestead. Today we're doing a little more work on the trees, and what we're going to do is repair a younger damaged tree that was damaged by deer rub. What happens is, as the male deer gets older, the crowns continue to grow, the horns, and they develop like fur on the horns, as you've probably seen before. As they get older, those horns continue to grow, the fur splits, and they shed their horns, basically, is what happens. As that fur starts to crack and split apart, it starts bleeding, it irritates the male deer, and they start rubbing their horns on trees. Yes, that's me being a deer with a crown. So it's called deer rub. And what they do is they find trees that are small enough or branches that are down low to rub that irritated skin and fur off their horn. And that's how they grow new horns. So today we're going to learn how to repair damaged trees by deer rub. Basically any tree. If you're losing bark off a tree, we'll show you how to repair that. So in the last video we were doing pruning and learning how to root clippings in order to add to your orchard. What I decided to do, let's switch it around, is I watched a video by David the Good where he was doing some pruning, and he took out his trimmers and just went to town on them. And he said, if you trim it down, these things can grow several feet in 1 year. So this is the pear tree again. You remember yesterday it had all these shoots coming up from the bottom. So what I decided to do was to just do the same thing and see how it works out. So I took off all the shoots from the pear tree and did the same process with the base of them and replanted them, trying to get those to root. If it doesn't work, it doesn't work. It's no big deal. It took me 5 minutes. At the same time, I'm transplanting grapevines. So because we're having an 8-foot fence or a 7-foot fence put up, the grapevines were falling outside the fence line. So we knew that the deer were going to continue to get to the grapevines. This one's only a year old, so here are the grapevines. I have to train them up still. We'll do that soon. But I transplanted this one. Had most of the root ball intact still. So that one's going to be a successful transplant. This one is a little older. This one's probably 3 years old. So you can see what I ended up doing here is, hang on, I'll pick that up so you can see it a little better. Okay. That's where I transplanted it to. It's pretty long. It's probably 10 feet or so. And there's the rest of it right over here. Okay. I just followed the same process with the base of those just to see if it works, So I bashed up the base of those clippings, probably another 10 feet. So bashed up the ends of those clippings and just put them in the soil. If it doesn't work, no big deal. Again, only took 5 minutes. So, whose idea was it to withdraw these grapevines? Well, again, so they were going to fall outside the fence line, and in order to, we've only really gotten grapes out of this 1 year, last year. Very limited. The Japanese beetles get to it. So you know, we had to remove it. It was, there's Bo right there hiding. It was over in that corner. Okay, you see those large, tall wooden posts over there. One was on that side of the path, the other one was over near that vine wall. So the gate for the new fence is going to go just on the other side of those posts, which means the deer were going to be able to get to the grapevine. That vine wall was really smothering the grapevine anyhow. This didn't cost much, so I'm not that worried about it. Hopefully it works. I did trim it down. A lot of the root ball was still intact. Some of it obviously got tore up, but I expect that it's still cold enough that those roots will recover, hopefully, and I still have to train this up in the event that it starts growing leaves. So here is the magnolia I showed you the other day. What I decided to do yesterday is I came in and just trimmed off a lot of the branches. Okay, this is one that the deer had taken off. They took off another one here. Okay, so clip there, clip here. There's another one. But what I did first, the exposed bark was all up here. Okay, you can still see some of it right there. Okay, so the bark is missing. I could probably even add a little more here. So what I did is just took some duct tape. This is just white duct tape. Okay, measure this out. Measure out the area that you need to perform the repair on. Take one strip, is gonna be a little longer. Okay, that's gonna be your outside strip. Take another strip, put it on the inside, just a little shorter than the outside strip. So your inside strip is gonna have, you don't want the adhesive part against the exposed tree without the bark. Okay, so you're gonna take your longer strip and then measure out a shorter strip that covers the whole wound, I guess. Okay, and put those two together, and what that allows for is if you have the adhesive against the bark and you just put that on there, it's going to take a long time for that water. The idea is to give the water from the base, from the roots, give the water a way to transform or transpire up this tree. It won't do that if it has damaged bark, so your tree will die. Okay, long strip of duct tape, and then take a shorter strip, tape them together, put your repair, your duct tape repair, you know, put the longer strip, put it right over there, and then just take some painter's tape. Hang on, this is just blue painter's tape, and this is really kind of weak tape. So as this tree goes, if this repair works, as this tree grows, this tape will just split, so you really don't have to do anything. This repair only took, you know, a few minutes to do. The idea is to give the water a route to get up this side of the tree so it can start growing branches again. Trim off some of the branches because the tree is not getting enough energy to feed all the way up here. So trim off, you know, 3/4 of the branches, make your repair, and then, you know, this will work. This will give the water a route to go up, make its way up the tree. you no longer have exposed interior with missing bark. So now water can actually make it up this, and you're not using adhesive against that exposed inner part of the tree, that exposed flesh. Okay, so you're basically making a band-aid for your tree, and that should work. That should offer some protection to the inside of the tree, and like I said, making a little band-aid for it. Just wrap it around. The damage isn't on this side. I'm not so worried about that. It's over here. So that's what we're looking at. Now this tree, I'm gonna have to take down. When we took down trees over here, took down 4 of them, the sun, a lot more sun was getting into the yard, and this tree wasn't quite used to it. So what happened? It started shedding bark. Okay, and you can see bark is missing all the way up this tree. Okay, it's a big old tree. Hang on, I'll show you. So because it's missing bark, what happened, the tree, when it's missing bark like that, hang on, let me get that right in there so you can see it. Let's get out of there. Okay, all up the tree is missing bark. So this tree is dying. Okay, and because it's dying, what happened during a windstorm is the very top branches, obviously those are dead, but they cracked off and started laying it down here in the fire pit. Let's take a look. See this? There's one of the branches. Just snapped right off. Okay. The other ones were right over here. It's the very top of the tree, snapped off. It's a good thing I wasn't down here when that happened. So we're definitely gonna have to get the chainsaw out and take this tree out before the fencing company gets here. We've already paid for the fence, so we're just waiting for the supplies to get here. With all these trees that we've taken down, like I said, probably, just 100, probably 120 back here, and then a bunch out front, grapevines. So we have 2 transplants, and then this one is a seedless marquee, green marquee right here. Okay, so I planted, that's new, and then we got 2 transplant, the other one, so we got 2 greens, and then this one is a purple, seedless purple grape. I forget which kind it is. I got the paperwork inside. Because we've taken down all these trees in the spring, Tommy's Tree Service gave us a hand with this, because all this was wrapped in vines. You can see some of the vines are still on there, but I went through and de-limbed it. The Husqvarna had another issue, blew a piston this time. Isn't that great? But what I'm doing here, we're building new garden beds just using the tree, the logs of the tree. I cut them down into 12 foot sections by 5 feet. So this is one. I just use my truck. I have a long, large rope. So just use the truck, wrapped the rope around, put it, tied it off to the truck. And the truck, I've got a Titan. It pulls up to 12,000 pounds. So it can handle these trees, no problem. We're gonna position, cut these. These are oak, so it's like chainsawing through concrete. But we're gonna position this one for another and these out here for, I'm hoping to have enough for four garden beds, just like that one. And then we're going to take some cardboard, line the inside of the beds. I have some weed barrier for the outside. We're just going to take our 20-yard wood drop or wood chip drop from getchipdrop.com, free wood chips. We're going to take that, line the outside of the beds, and we're going to put down weed barrier and then wood chip for the outside so we don't have to do a bunch of weeding. And then the inside will have cardboard so the new plants will be able to get through that cardboard and into the soil. That's why I've been building up all the compost from the yard. You can see, you know, we have a ton of leaves. So I've got 2 big bins of compost. We're going to have 1, 2, 3, 4 new garden beds. Okay, and the fence is going to go here 7 feet because the deer can jump over a 5-foot fence. You know, if you look it up online, deer can jump over a 5-foot fence. They could jump over a 6-foot fence. So we went 7 feet, and that should protect the gardens. These are the new clippings that I did with the peach right here. I just threw them in here. This is rich soil, you know, just to let them, you know, if it doesn't work, again, if it doesn't work, no big deal. Didn't take any time. Just kind of bash up the base of the clipping so those roots can extend down from inside and get established. So if these do establish, I'll transplant them somewhere in the yard. So we'll check that out during the year. All right, so just making some repairs to magnolias. Probably spent $70 on the magnolia trees. So kind of want to, you know, see if we can save it. And we'll see. It should work. You're basically just creating a band-aid, you know, and making sure that you're not putting adhesive against the inside of the tree. You want to create like a false bark, okay? Something, a protective layer for that water to be able to come up and feed the rest of the tree and save it. So that's it for the Reed Homestead. Hope everyone's having a great day. Until the next time, God bless. See ya.